Hello everyone, welcome to today's video. I'm going to explain the summary of the lesson from the diary of Anne Frank. This is the fourth lesson of First Flight. The author of this lesson is Anne Frank. The name of the lesson is The Diary of a Young Girl. So the introduction is as follows. From the Diary of Anne Frank is an extract from Anne Frank's famous diary. Anne Frank was a 13-year-old Jewish girl who lived in Amsterdam during the World War II. She wrote about her daily life, school, friends, family, and feelings. Her diary later became one of the world's most famous books. This chapter mainly focuses on Anne's habit of writing a diary, her feeling of loneliness, her experiences at school, her opinions about teachers, especially Mr. Keesing. The detailed explanation is as follows. Anne receives a diary. Anne Frank received a diary as a birthday gift on 12th June 1942 when she turned 13 years old. Although she had loving parents, a sister, relatives, and many friends, she still felt lonely because she could not share her deepest thoughts with anyone. Therefore, she decided to write everything in her diary and names her diary and imagined that her diary was her closest friend. She named it Kitty. Whenever she wrote in it, she addressed it as Dear Kitty. This made her feel as though she was talking to a trusted friend. Anne talks about her family and describes her family. She says she has loving parents, she has an elder sister named Margot, she has several relatives and friends. Even though she appears to have everything, she still feels that no one truly understands her inner feelings. This is why the diary has become her best friend. She feels that she has everyone to support her, to take care of her, to help her during her difficult times. However, she feels that nobody understands her inner feelings. Let's talk about Anne's school life. Anne studies at Jewish Lyceum in Amsterdam. She enjoys going to school and has many friends. However, she is very talkative. She loves chatting during the class. Mr. Keesing punishes Anne. One of Anne's teacher, Mr. Keesing, teaches mathematics. He becomes annoyed because Anne talks too much in the class. As a punishment, he asks her to write an essay on chatterbox. Anne writes a humorous essay explaining that talking is a natural habit inherited from her mother, and that it is very difficult to stop. Mr. Keesing laughs after reading it. The second punishment is that Anne continues to talk. She continues talking. Mr. Keesing gives her another essay, an incorrigible chatterbox. An incorrigible is a person who cannot be changed, a person who can never change himself or herself. Again, Anne writes an interesting essay. The third punishment is that Mr. Keesing becomes even stricter. This time he gives Anne the topic quack quack quack, said Mistress Chatterbox. Anne asked one of his friends, Saint, to help her to write it. Together they compose a funny poem about a mother duck whose ducklings chatter so much that the father swan bites them because he is tired of the noise. Mr. Keesing finds the poem amusing, he laughs heartily, and realizes that Anne has a good sense of humor. After this, he stops punishing her for talking. So the main characters are Anne Frank, who is very intelligent, honest, creative, humorous, sensitive, friendly, and talkative. She is an excellent writer. Mr. Keesing, the second character, who is very strict, disciplined, fair, appreciates creativity, good hearted. Although he punishes Anne, he eventually recognizes her talent and accepts her lively nature. So the theme is about friendship. Anne treats her diary as her closest friend, freedom of expression. Writing helps Anne to express her feelings she cannot easily he shared with others. Education teachers guide students, but they also should also appreciate creativity, humor, and uses wit and humor to deal with difficult situations. The important vocabulary is as follows: diary, a personal book for writing daily experiences; chatterbox, a person who talks too much; incorrigible is a person who cannot be changed or corrected; amusing means funny and enjoyable; essay is a short piece of writing on a topic; humorous means funny and entertaining. The moral of the story is that writing is an excellent way to express thoughts and emotions. Creativity and humor can solve many problems. Good teachers recognize and encourage students' talents. A true friend is someone with whom we can share our deepest feelings. There are some important questions and answers with regard to the lesson. Why did Anne start writing a diary? Anne started writing a diary because she felt lonely and wanted someone with whom she could share her thoughts and feelings. Why did Anne call her diary Kitty? She called her diary Kitty because she considered it as her closest friend. Why did Mr. Keesing punish Anne? He punished Anne because she talked continuously during the maths class. What essays did Anne write? She wrote a chatterbox, an incorrigible chatterbox. Quack, 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 said Mistress Chatterbox, a humorous poem. Why did Mr. Keesing stop punishing Anne? He stopped because he appreciated Anne's creativity and sense of humor after reading her poem. I'll be explaining the summary of the lesson from the diary of Anne Frank. Is an extract from Anne Frank's diary. Anne receives a diary on her 13th birthday and names it Kitty. Although she has a loving family and many friends, she feels lonely and uses the diary to express her thoughts. At school, she is very talkative, so her maths teacher, Mr. Keesing, repeatedly punishes her by asking her to write essays. Anne responds with witty and creative writing, including a humorous poem about talking ducklings. Mr. Keesing enjoys her creativity and stops giving her punishments. The chapter highlights honesty, humor, self expression, and the value of creative thinking. Thank you so much and have a wonderful day. I have explained the summary of the lesson, The Diary of a Young Girl.